Hey guys, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, we'll be learning how to create this beautiful Bubu gown with an agbada effect on the sleeves, and it also has a slit in the front. So if this is what you're interested in, please watch this video to the end. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do well to subscribe so you get notified whenever I drop a new video. So without wasting much of our time, let's get started. Let's get straight to the cutting of this gown. My fabric is on fold already. It's folded into four places. We'll be cutting out the back and the front piece together. So I'm just going ahead to use pins to just hold it firmly because the fabric was not very easy to work on. It was just moving on about on my table. So yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do is to determine my shoulder measurement, and for me, mine is 7 inches, 14 divided by 2. So the next thing, I'm using 3 inches for the neck width and depth of my round neckline. So since we're cutting out the back and the front, I'm going to use a round neckline measurement before I cut out my V-shaped neckline for the front piece. So yeah, that is it for the neckline. So afterwards, from that point where I marked 7 inches for my neckline and for my shoulder line, I'm coming out by 10 inches. I'm coming out by 10 inches from that point. So this is me trying to be sure of how long I want my sleeve to be. So I'm just trying to measure from my shoulder to my sleeve length. So when I was setting, I went ahead to create my marks. Yeah, so from that point I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Yeah, so trying to connect from that 1 inch that I came down by to the neckline. So yeah, this is now my shoulder and neckline connected. Is it shoulder and sleeve now connected together? So afterwards, from that part where I marked for my sleeve, I'm coming down by 10 inches. That is how wide I want my sleeve to be. So yeah, so for this part, I think you need to just ignore it. I think it was not even necessary after I realized that my sleeve, how round I want my sleeve to be, is 10 inches while my bust point is 9 inches. So it was not even necessary, and this is a free dress, so I wasn't even going to add any body measurement. So there was no point for this measurement I'm taking right now for my bust point. So it wasn't necessary, like I said. So from my round armhole for my sleeve, I just started to create my marks for my body form. You can just add 10 inches from your body measurements to just create your own dress if you want to, but for me, I just went ahead to just connect from my sleeve down to the full length of my dress, just like you're seeing me do. It's not straight. As I'm coming down, I'm just adding, making slight curves to be sure that the dress is going to to be full. Yeah, so this is the full length of my dress. So I just went ahead to just make my lines up to the full length of my dress. So yeah, just do so. So I'll now go ahead now to cut on all the lines or the marks I've created. Yeah, so while you're cutting, you want to be sure that everywhere is aligned and pinned down, because like I said, this fabric was not very easy to work with. And by the way, this is an African print, Adire batik to be precise. So yeah, so if you're working with this kind of fabric, you want to be sure that it is well aligned and pinned down, because it was just moving up about while I was working on it. So I filmed this on the weekend and my babies were around and they didn't go to school. So you will notice that while I was editing, I noticed that my daughter was coming in and out of the studio. So yeah, so I'm sorry for that. So just go ahead and cut out just like the way you're seeing me do. Yeah, so like I said, you have to be sure that the fabric is well placed and aligned. So I'm going ahead now to cut out on all the rough edges. So yeah, this is how it looks after cutting out. So next thing we are going to do now is to take out one part. um so this remaining part here is going to be used as our front part. So this is what now we are going to use to create our v-shaped neckline. So yeah, but before you do that, and like I said, the fabric was not very easy to work on. So I'm just holding it down with my pins. I didn't want a situation where I would finish and some areas are longer or shorter than the other areas. So I was very spectacular about pinning my fabric down and holding it in place so that it doesn't shake and move up about while I'm working on it. Yeah, so now we are going to now determine our new neckline for the front piece. So if you see the dress, the front part has a V shape. So from that neckline where I'm holding down my tape, I came down by 9 inches, and that's how long I want my neckline to be. So I came down by 9 inches for the neckline. So I just went ahead to connect, you know, to the top. So with this particular part, you have to be sure that you don't cut out the shoulder area so that it's going to be equal when you now join it with the back piece. So just cut out on the mark on the line that you have created, and yeah, that is our v-shaped neckline for the front piece. So yeah, this is how it is. I hope yours is looking like this. So afterwards, I just went ahead to just cut out from that part where you're seeing me from the neckline yard. So just cut it out all the way to the down. So yeah, all the way to the down. The front of the dress has a slit and it also has a joining. So yeah, so just cut it out just like you're seeing me do. And yeah, so we'll now go ahead and cut out our facing. Just place another fabric underneath the fabric as you can see me do. So and just cut out just exactly the way I'm doing mine. Just place a fabric underneath, you know, and just do exactly what I'm doing. So this thing we are doing now is our facing. We'll be using it to stitch out the front neckline, and also I also went ahead to cut out the back facing as well. So yeah, this is how it's going to look when we stitch it. So this is the back facing, and I'll just go ahead and stitch it. Yeah, so this is how it looks after stitching. So I just went ahead to make notches all over it so that it will be easy for us to turn it and just iron it properly. Yeah, so this is how the back facing is looking like. So this is how it's looking like. I hope yours is looking like this. So yeah, so the next I'm going to do is the front face. Yeah, so I'm trying to now stitch down the front facing to the front part, and I wanted it to be properly held together, so I'm using my pins to just hold it in place, and we are just going to use a very small allowance to just stitch down the facing to the fabric itself. Just use a quarter of an inch to stitch it down. So yeah, this is how it looks after stitching, and this is the front part. So I just held it together with my pin. So next thing we are going to do now is to make a stitch down to the point where I want my slit to start. So yeah, I'll just go ahead now and make stitches. I'll show you afterward. So I've stitched it down, and I've also gone ahead to give it a very good press. So that is where the slit is starting. So now use the back part and the front part, join them together, place them on each other, right sides facing each other. So yeah, make sure to align the shoulders to be very you know properly placed and straight. And so I will now go ahead to stitch the shoulder area with half an inch, and afterwards I'll show you what it looks. So I've joined the shoulders, and now we are going to create our agbada effect. So for this area, I need to pay very serious attention. So the full length of our shoulders for each side is 15 inches. Yeah, so you come out by 8 inches from one side of the shoulder, and after marking that 8 inches, you mark 13 inches again and create a point. So you want to measure the other shoulder to be sure. Like I said, my shoulder is now 15 inches by each side. So this side again come out by 8 inches and also 13 inches, and create a mark on those areas that you have come out by. And see what I'm doing. So from that first 8 inches marks that you created, put your hand inside and just, use your pin to hold it down. Use your hand to push it inside until you stop by the 13 inches mark that you created. Just like you're seeing me do, just hold it down like that, and do the same for the other side. Just hold it down, make sure it is very straight from both ends. So we'll now go over to the same machine and stitch it from the inside. you know Okay guys, so I've gone ahead to stitch it, and this is how it's looking. I also went ahead to use bias tape to stitch down the hemline of my sleeves. Yeah, so this is how it's looking. The agbada effect is already coming out. So yeah, so when next we are going to now go over to the sewing machine and stitch down the sides of our dress. Yeah, so it's looking beautiful. So guys, I've almost finished with the dress. I've gone ahead to stitch down the sides, and this is how it's looking. I've also stitched the hem lines of my dress. I went ahead to use a hemming gum for the slits as well. So this is how the dress is looking. So if you like this video, please give this video a thumbs up, and also follow my channel if you have not followed. I just hope you got value for your time. Thank you for stopping by on my channel, and God bless you. Really good. So that is a bias tape. I'm going to embellish my dress to make it come out really pretty, and this is the final look of my dress. So I'll see you next time.